Alrighty, let's get in here for round one. Would you like to play first? I usually still keep this open for you guys, but just minimize it a little bit. Yeah, I'd like to play first. How do you feel about this hand? Probably not great, but it's limited, so we'll keep it. I think if you mulligan 3-land, 4-spell hands, you're probably mulliganing too often. But being able to swing for 3 on turn 4 is not unexciting. I don't have any double greens that I can cast early, so it kind of doesn't really matter what land we play out initially. I don't have any double blacks either, so it's 6-1, half dozen of the other. 3 drops, the deck. It's kind of awkward when you have all of your 3 drops to start. Why is it kind of awkward, Travis? Well, because then you're going to draw 2 drops later, and they're not as good. Like, we've got a fairly good sequence here of play this, then play the Enthusiast, make the tokens, attack for 3. That starts the game going. Opponent is marred doing it. Oh, you would like tokens too. Happy to hit another land there. Kind of sad that we can't really do much with it. But one more after that, particularly green, would have been nice. But even if we will, if we can play the Gear Per Guide and like force through a servo, I guess. We're clearly going to make the Tom servos and hit for 3. We'll leave up the green to sort of represent an Oatmeal Courage. Wonder if the servos like match what color card created them. Because I've noticed that there's different tokens for them. So like these are the black ones and these are the white ones. That'd be kind of cool. We don't want to trade off both of our servos, but I kind of don't mind trading one. Like this attack would suggest to me that they're going to play something that can block a 1/1. To be fair, what can't block a 1/1? So I'm pretty happy trading off one servo. I think I'm interested in keeping the other though, and I don't want to chomp. Yeah, like this would indicate that they have things that can handle a 1/1. They have lots of things that can handle a 1/1. Nature's Way. So I'm not sure that this is the turn I want to Nature's Way. Because like giving this Vigilance doesn't really matter. Giving this Trample doesn't really matter. I might just want to get down a solid blocker. Like ideally we'll be able to resolve the Arborback or the Ambitious Aetherborn and get some value there. So like the Gear Per Guide blocks a servo, this blocks that. We're down to hitting for 2 a turn instead of more, but it's kind of fine. Like if they're going to feed us servos, I think we're pretty happy about that. And we do still have a chump on the Weaponscraft Enthusiast when we need it. Kind of feel like as long as they're taking more damage than we are every turn, we're winning, because that's how math works. They may not even turn them all sideways here. No, they're all about turning them sideways. So like I kind of don't want to trade this guy off. Why don't you want to trade this guy off, Travis? Because they might play something better, and I'm also kind of turning off my Nature's Way without a defined 3-power dude. I think this is a trade I'm happy to make. Like one of the options that they could have is that they're splashing for the Gravedigger, and I understand that then playing the Gravedigger here would be bad for me. If it's still happening while they're taking 2 or 3 in the air, though, that's the thing. Because, like, if we draw a land, we can play this guy, make a servo, ground's locked up. I kind of don't care at that point. I can also force this guy through for damage if we have to. Yeah, I think we're happy we have the Nature's Way here. And a 3-power dude to cast it with. Because that's got to go. Like, we're not playing Magic anymore if that's still on the board. Now, a pump spell wrecks my face. And there's really nothing we can do about it. Yep. There's just that's got to go. If we don't kill it now, we're not going to kill it. All right, we got it. So we can trade this guy in if we think we're ahead, or we can hold it back if we think we're not. I think we're ahead enough that I want to get the 3 damage. Might be crazy, but that's what's happening. Got a relatively clear board with us having a flyer and us having all gas in hand. Like, I'm at least getting a 3/3 next turn, which will blank that. Like, I understand that ideally we want to cast the Armorcraft Drudge and draw 1,000,000 cards, and that's really cool. But if we just need to cast a Hill Giant, I'll take it. All right. I think this may be where Home Slice jumps in front of the bus. Like, we got some value out of your tokens, buddy, and we're going to miss you. But I don't think you're going to get better than preventing 3 points of damage. All right, now we've got the option of Aetherborn with a servo to put this to 3. And that makes it 4 turns instead of 6. That's such a huge change in how fast they have to deal with this that I think I want to do that. Meh, okay. You got me. We'll just kill you with the ground stuff. Like, the argument there was put the token on it so we've got something that can just block this. Chandra's Pyrohelix is fantastic, as if you could not tell. He's blanked next turn with this guy, and I don't care about the 3 life right now. That Ibex is indeed thriving. Malphite Squad would have been good earlier, but I think we're just going to get stomping. I think I'm willing to trade this for the Ibex if they double block. I don't think many people would double block here. I think they probably just take it because green-black has a lot of good combat tricks. I happen to not have any of them right now. But getting a 3/5 out of the way for a 4/3, I think is something I'm interested in. All right, we're gonna have to slow down a little bit here. That's all right. That's all right by me. So if I play the Malphite Squad here and put the counter on it, we can dissuade attacks here a little bit and then play Rats and Armorcraft Judge next turn, because we're gonna have to get through this. I'd like to not do it by double blocking. We're just sitting here clogged. The reason I'm thinking we can play this and the Rats is I would get to do both, potentially, if we hit a land, and the Armorcraft Judge should help us hit a land. I could also just make a 3/1 Menace and a Servo, which should dissuade this from attacking. Right? Because then I can swing back. Although this just trades for any of their stuff anyway. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Malphite Squad. It puts us a little soft to a removal spell for it. But I'm going to put the counters on it and see if we can draw some cards next turn. This is more playable than I thought. Kelsey had 2 of these in her draft deck. I was initially a little skeptical, but after watching it play out, she made it to the finals of her draft. Her opponent didn't want to split, mine did. So, you know, who knows if I would have won that. Just like I can split for 3 packs or try to win and risk 4 and 2. Like, nah, I'll just split, buddy. Buddy, guy, friend. Like the only thing we're scared of right now is the automaton, and I'm not even sure that we're not advantaged. All right, so you got something. I don't think this is so important that I could not be willing to risk it. Sometimes you've got to risk it for the biscuit. I'm going to block here because if they've got the +2/+2 and indestructible, it wrecks me for an artifact. If I block here and that's what they've got, we're at least 2 for 2ing. And like, I can take 8. It's not comfortable. I don't like it. But we could potentially stabilize from here. Like, just slamming this next turn blocks everything we need. I guess it's still scary if they've got that combat trick, but if they don't use it here, we're just eating one of their dudes. Okay. Just getting Pyrohelix value. And now I don't have to wonder what they've got, because they've played all their cards. So options here include but are not limited to. I don't think we're hitting for 4. I think I just want to play this guy, put the counters on it, and then see if we can potentially draw 2 cards next turn. Because this can comfortably block that / eat this. Home Slice can block there. That puts me taking at most 4 next turn. Now, it's a little uncomfortable because they could burn me. But I think I need the counters for this to be big enough, because 6 power, 6 toughness can block. The 5 doesn't threaten to kill it. And I'd rather not trade off guys here, but if we gotta, we gotta. I also would like to not be dead next turn. Well, unfortunately, I don't think we've achieved that. That was a good draw from them. The reason I went with that line instead of the other 2 is because they were empty-handed. So, like, if they draw a land, we've stabilized. That they didn't draw a land. And we're still not just done. So what's the most dudes I can get on the table? If I play the squad, well, at 1, I'm just dead. I can't think of anything I draw that wins me the game, but I'm gonna look. As it turns out, making the servos with this would have been better, but again, I don't think you play around a top-decked revoked privileges. Yeah, that's not going to do it there. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. So they've got a lot of Pyrohelixes, making our X1s worse. I don't think we're in a position to really take all of them out, but I am going to quickly evaluate all of our X1s. I still like the rats when we're on the play, but like this guy, The enthusiast is fine. I'm not taking out the Screecher because that's just giving us a win condition. I am probably buffing these guys. So like, do I have anything that's just better than these? I think I like the Bruiser on the play, and I might just like a bigger thing. Maybe even a Mind Rot, although I like that. Oddly enough, I kind of like Mind Rot better on the draw. It does even you up. Like, maybe we just want something bigger than the Cobra. It's like it just trades off for their stuff, though. But with them having multiple Pyrohelixes, I feel like I'm just setting myself up to get wrecked. You know, maybe the Cobra's just better than this guy, and we should do something like this. Because this gives me a nice, solid power and toughness ratio. This is going to be a better top deck later, and the menace on this isn't super relevant with as many servos as they're farting out. The rats aren't looking great here either, but again, they're pretty good on turn 2. their power level drops a lot from there. But I think I can take this as a swap. I don't want another Oatmeal Courage. I'm still not 100% sold on Underhanded Designs. Ideally, we're killing them before they're able to resolve giant big things. I would like to play first. This looks great. We will keep it. Why does it look great? Because we're attacking with this guy and this and things, and like this is what I was hoping we'd do, is have starting him with like great 2-drops and just murderize our opponent. All right, Dutch, get him done. Le Cube. I'm playing that first because we can use the energy from the rats to force this through, or threaten to force this through, if they play a 2/2 blocker. If they just play a prism, it's great. So I'm still certainly playing the rats. The question is, do we even bother pumping this guy pre-combat or not? I guess we do, because it, like, we're still going to have the 2 energy. Like, why not hit for 3? Because the rats can attack next turn. I can still threaten to buff this guy, and if they play a blocker, we can just Nature's Way it out of the way and be swinging for 5. That's a relatively quick clock. Like, it needs to be a blocker I'd want to get out of the way, but hello, blocker I'd want to get out of the way. Oatmeal Courage is nice here too, with the idea that it would let me potentially trade for that or get the Cobra down. The challenge is I think this is actually a big enough threat that I want it dead. I think I just want it gone so that we don't have to play in a world where that card exists. Here we'll spread the love a little bit and diversify our threats to an extent so that we're not worried about them having the Pyrohelix. Oh, I see what you did there. Look at you doing your things. You're gonna bounce a Prophetic Prism? No. We're gonna get out more 2-drops. Okay, okay. I still see what you did there. Okay, so we're interested in double blocking. I can't imagine what would go wrong if they were to double block. I mean, from their perspective, how could that be bad? So if they double block, if I put the counter on this and have a 3/4, they double block here, we get them. They double block here, we get them. So we're just kind of happy with our Oatmeal Courage. Look at those rats. They're just thriving. Womp womp. Savage 2-for-1s. That does mean we can't grow Home Slice next turn. And we've only got a 3/3, a 3/4, and a 2/1. But that's not a bad board state. Any land gets us more action. A forest gets us a trampler. Like, Longtusk Cub has put a counter on itself and on this. That's great. Dutch confirmed best card in the set. They've got like a dwarf theme deck. No no ma num do 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 do. No no ma num do 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 do. No, 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 no. Do 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 do. Because it's a snake. Okay, that's why this card is good. If you need an instant board state, we can get you one. Now, still can't necessarily trade with this here. Although, what happens if I swing team? Like, they want to block here and then double block this and take 3. That sucks. How much worse for me can it get? So if they're at 3, they're at 6, and they've got to deal with this guy. No, 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 no. Like, I want to attack here and just have them trade off these 2 for it. That doesn't leave them in a great spot. Like, I don't think I need to suicide dudes for damage. Like, the Cobra has outlived its usefulness, I think. Home Slice will get me 2 things that can at least attack into the current board. I'm a little nervous about attacking with the Cobra. Maybe I could attack with the Cobra and just accept that it's so vulnerable to the thing that does the thing that we attack with this and it takes away the option to double block, right? And I may also be overvaluing the Cub. Like, one option is just to attack with both of these. They can trade off with the Cub and have a 1-1. That's not so bad. Yeah, I think I'm down with that. Like, the board is so clogged now that I'd like to force 3 damage, and I'm willing to trade this for like a card and a half. Because I've kind of got my other half a card out of it by putting a counter here. This also heavily incentivizes them to block there because they don't want me to keep getting the energy. So I can get a 2-3 or I can get a bunch of 1-1s. I think I want the 2-3 currently. The more I think about it, it makes a top-decked Armorcraft Judge better, and it doesn't give them just good targets for the 2 damage spell. I didn't think I would often play this as a 2-3. I don't think that I often will, but I don't think I'm supposed to be going wide with the current board state. If we got to slow down, we can slow down. It's like I've got solid 5s. And there are more lands in the deck. We put them there. With the intention of drawing them in scenarios like this. No, 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 no. Okay. That's a bit of a problem there. Hunt the Weak. One-time dealer. Let's see it. That's not it. It can let us eventually start forcing damage. Like, we've still got an attack here that will counteract that a bit. And like, if we have to make Home Slice unblockable, we can hit for 6 a turn. So if I swing team here, they trade here, that bounces. That's clearly not good. So I think we're just going with Das Rats. Obviously, a removal spell for that would have been better. But I think they're currently dead next turn, or forced into awkward blocking scenarios next turn. Like, we just make this guy unblockable by their current board and swing with both of these. They'll have to do something about this. I could also have the removal spell we've been worried about all game for this dude, but the fact that we're making them use it is probably good, right? Restoration Gearsmith. Kind of figured they might have that. They got DePaula. That's going to be a bit of a problem. So attack here, they probably double block. What happens if I swing with both of these? They trade these off. That's probably my best spot, and then we'll see if we can kill him with the Foundry Screecher. Because, like, I would happily trade this for the Gearsmith. I don't think that's how we're winning the game currently, because they're going to slam Depala in game 3, remember? Unless we have a blocker. So I think I need to be able to play this turn, which means I can't use this ability. If they didn't have this, all of a sudden we're in a different scenario, but that's just not the world we're living in. Is this where I go with the Cobra too and just... So what happens if they trade the token for the Cobra? I gotta go relatively quickly here. They take damage is what happens. I don't think it's worth suiciding this guy in. I do think this is an attack we want to make. I'd kind of like the Cobra to be alive though, otherwise I can't... Well, I can't block that anyway. It's gonna be too big. Ugh, we may just be dead here. Yeah, this is so miserable. So miserable. I've got cards I can draw which would stabilize, but them gaining 3 a turn is a real problem. Yeah, I guess we attack here, try to get them to trade off some dudes, and then plan on drawing a removal spell for Depala and getting in with the Foundry Screecher. Like, if I whiff again... Yeah, I think we're fine here. Like, once I can get the life gain off the board, we can win. Right? The fact that and also getting this off the board before it... Oh, that's a human, not a dwarf. So that matters a little bit, but... We do have some long game cards. We just need to draw them. We've also, again, got ways to interact with this. We just need to draw them. Hunt a Week, I think, being one of the best. Malphite Squad sort of gets it going. Sort of gets it going. It is indeed menacing. And it's big enough that we could hunt the Wig just to get it out of the way. Yeah, and they've got to double block it anyway. It's kind of a day late and a mana short here. Sand had a lot of potential. Yeah, going to snap off these two, I think. Oh, no, just play Make Obsolete. Now, that essentially is the same card as Pyrohelix there. We're starting to get too far behind to recover because of the Lighthawk. It's the Vigilance that kind of busts it. Now, obviously, it's not as good as a Nighthawk not having Death Touch. But when you can pump it real good, it's going to make some problems for Travis. All right. Well, I guess that at least does something. Like if we attack here, they just easily double block, right? I'm trying to think, is there a scenario where we could engineer that they block with this? And we're able to use this. I don't think I can get them to block with that without using this. Like this has Depala's name all over it. All right, we gotta hold. I think I want to instant speed this because I don't think they're attacking with Depala. If they play a vehicle with haste, maybe we're interested in having it. We're getting to the... There's not much left here that gets us out of this game. But this is a start. Because now we can at least, like, if we draw another 6-drop or something, force some damage. And we've tied the life totals. That will slowly take over a game at the cost of absurd amounts of mana. I don't think it's going to be fast enough to really do anything for us here. I just don't have any attacks. If one of these was a green and I could play this and like force this guy through for 4, we're starting to do something. But like if I send this for 4, what happens? We're basically trading 2 for 2 with both of us at 13. I get the first hit in, which is not insignificant. I'm not convinced that she's fast enough or that the 1/1s matter. Have I still got good blocks? Block. Yeah. I guess this is just what we're doing. Like, technically, if they're holding all lands and can't commit anything else to the board, this will win that race. I don't think it's super likely that that's the case. Okay. We at least got a removal spell out of their hand, right? Right? Blech. Stop having things. Why would you have things? That card is so bad and I'm going to die to it. All right. At least they're going to let me trade it for a dude and a Pyrohelix. I'll take it. We can't sit here and take 8 damage from that. And if they don't have another Pyrohelix, that's just great for us. We've got the board on lockdown. If they do, we're going to take, what, 3 damage and lose both of our dudes? That's fine. Okay, not having one I think is good. And now we can sort of start playing Magic again, right? There ain't no Arbor back. What's up? My giant creature gonna stick around. Arborback Stomper is never going to give me up. He's never going to let me down. He's never going to run around and desert me. Why would you have a 5/7? There's so much of it. It's so 5/70. Remember, we've got to blow up an artifact card that would be so good to draw. That's not it. All right. We need blockers, and I need to play a little faster. So I'm going to stop kind of thinking. Someone just said, wait, you've been thinking this whole time? And try to just put up enough toughness to stop that. Because we're basically draw Hunt the Weak or something to interact with the Light Hawk or we're dead. And at 7 minutes versus my opponent's 11, I got to play quickly. This reminds me a lot of how the last game went. 6, 7, 8. Got to take it. They're probably going wide enough that I'm going to get wrecked here, but we'll see. All right, so that gives me an Edge Crafter. We can go wide. We can threaten to block things. And we've still got a couple turns to stop this Light Hawk. If I can't kill this, nothing matters. If I can, we're still playing Magic. So like again, Hunt the Weak does it. Forest doesn't. That's okay, we got one more turn. Any attacks? No. Death by Light Hawk. We had him down to 5 at one point. We may well have done 20 points of damage to our opponent, and it just didn't matter because we're cold to this guy. Oh, come on. All right, folks. Shocker. Kills me with a shock. I like it. T-Shocker. It's for Travis Shocker. They just shocked me. Sadly, that was my first defeat in Kaladesh Draft. I'm glad you guys and gals could be here to watch it with me. We're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back for round 2. Thank you for watching. See you back in just a second.